Hey everybody, I am back, but this time I am not in my car. I am off today. It's Saturday, it's the weekend, and I do not work weekends. So, yay, I get to talk to you not in my car, in my bumpy ride to work with my camera shaking all over the place. Hot mess. But nonetheless, here I am back again. I still don't know what I'm going to talk about, really. I mean, I have ideas, but I don't have a agenda, right? But I am committing to showing up as often as I can on this channel because that is something that is dear to my heart and a desire that I have aspired for a really long time, and I have not allowed myself to pursue out of fear of judgment and fear of failure, and just not really knowing what my reasoning was for even wanting to do it. I felt like a sense of, I guess, imposter syndrome a little bit, but I think I've lived enough life at this point that I think that whatever topics come up for me and whatever conversations I have on here can help somebody in some way. So, what I have been coming to grips with lately, or honestly, I guess just realizing for myself, is that I have had a lot of responsibility placed on me since I was really young. And unfortunately, which I think happens for a lot of us, when that happens, you pursue a life that is safe. Um, you kind of just take on the role of being the reliable one, the one that gets things done and people can call on. And I don't think too many of us realize how much suffering we put on ourselves by doing that. Um, Unfortunately, as a young child, you start to learn that as a reward system for yourself. If I do well and I do good and I behave and I get good grades and I go the path of least resistance, that's easy for the adults in my life. And you just kind of learn to stay there. Um, and I'm realizing that some of my burnout and exhaustion, it's not just from my career path, it's from that, from all of my life having to be on top of it, organized, planning ahead. And now I am reaching a point where I really just want to go with the flow. But I'm terrified of doing that because I'm terrified for the house of cards to fall down and it all be my fault. Because of that, um, I am having a hard time even really evaluating what it is that I want, evaluating what it is that really makes me happy, what is a true interest for me, or even exploring a hobby. Um, there's a lot of things that I just didn't even put on the table or explore because it felt risky. And it wasn't on the path of success. And you know, now with just being the age that I am, but also with seeing my mom um, and helping my mom work through her Alzheimer's diagnosis, I am just really, it's really, really hitting my soul that, like, I cannot keep subjecting myself to misery. And I'm not miserable. I'm very blessed and I'm very thankful for the life that I have. But it's just like when people say money doesn't fix everything. It doesn't. It doesn't. it only accentuates what already is there, right? So if you have unresolved trauma, unresolved issues, or you don't get along with your family or whatever, money doesn't always make that better. It makes it worse sometimes because it allows you to hide and hide and hide longer and longer and longer, until you're still sitting there one day with the same problem. And I'm realizing that. Like, I have climbed up the ladder, I have done the things, I've gone to college, I've got my degree, I've got my license, good girl, always on honor roll, always like climbing up at the jobs that I'm at, being on committees, being a preceptor, helping initiate change, um, just doing those things. And I'm realizing like the amount of why am I putting this much energy into other people's things? Granted, I was very eager when I became a nurse. Um, I I I did it because I wanted to help people. We all hear that a lot, but I did. I am naturally a nurturer. My love language is actually acts of service. That is how I show love. And so it's very natural for me to be in the nursing profession, caring for others, nursing them back to health. But I realized as much as I would tell myself I didn't care about what people thought about me, I absolutely care about what people think about me. Well, I did, right? And that's why I'm so miserable, caring about what other people think about me. I could say it all day. The only reason I could say that was because I was pretty much always doing well. I didn't really do things that could have people talking about me. So it was easy to say, I don't care what people say about me because I never pushed the bar. And that was strategic. But I didn't realize it at the time. Like, I didn't realize this is all hindsight. So, yeah, I'm really realizing that I hid behind that. I hid behind that good girl mask and mentality, and it caused me to have a lot of suffering and anxiety and depression because not saying that I don't necessarily just those aren't things that I struggle, but I am realizing that a lot of it is self-inflicted because for me personally, it comes from the fear of failure. A lot of my anxiety comes from the fear of failure and unknown is what induces anxiety in me. When I am not living my truth, it causes anxiety as well as depression. When I feel like I have to suck it up and suffer for everybody else's greater good, that is when I start to spiral. I also placed way too much identity on my career as a nurse. And I have to admit that to myself too. Um, I I placed way too much identity there and wiped away any desire outside of nursing. I didn't let myself explore it. Um, with nursing, you hold a license, you take an oath, and so you do have to show up in the world um, a lot more tamed than some other professions. It's like being a lawyer, or a cop, or yeah, a doctor, or whatever. Like, people hold you to a certain standard, as well as your board that issues you your license holds you to a certain standard. So you can't just be out here doing whatever. So there's a lot of things that I realized that I probably would have did it or tried it if I wasn't a nurse. But I didn't because I was scared that it would make me look unprofessional. I was scared to be judged or for somebody to report me potentially for something. And then, you have social media. So people are always up in your business and you never know what's okay to post, what's not okay to post. Um, what opinion is okay to voice, what's not. You never know if you're going to get called in by HR for what you're saying on your Facebook because you work for this organization, or what you're saying on whatever platform is, TikTok, whatever. You never know if when you're going to get pulled in for something that you said that you might is it's true to you, it's your truth, but it doesn't align with your, you know, corporation. It might make them look bad. And I'm just reaching a point where that is very hard for me to keep maintaining. Um, my views about the world and life and the things that are going on in this country. I live in the United States of America, by the way. Like I said, I live in Texas. But the things that are going on in this world, the things that I have lived through, have shifted my perspective. It shifted my beliefs, my morals, my values, my ethics. And that's another reason why I believe I'm reaching this point of like, I have to do something different, because that is stronger to me now than any desire that I have as a nurse. Nothing in nursing trumps the morals and values and beliefs that I have now at 32 years old, a wife and a mom in this world, in this country. And I I can't be my full self as a nurse. Not where I'm at. Like, maybe if I found something very non-traditional or whatever, but like I can't. And I know that your job doesn't need to be your identity. It's probably good that it's not, you know? We should promote that more. Your job is your job and separate yourself from it. However, it is different when your job is your job and you can show up as yourself, and when your job is your job and you have to totally mask yourself. And so for me as a Black woman, a mixed race woman, I am Black, white, and Puerto Rican. However, when you look at me, take it how you want it. Black people can always tell I'm mixed with Spanish. Spanish people can usually tell I'm Black. And it just depends on what I look like that day. How is my hair? What am I wearing? How do I look? Because sometimes Spanish people walk straight up to me and start speaking Spanish, and I'm cool with that. I don't speak Spanish fluently. I can understand more than I can speak, but we're working on that. Anyway, as a Black woman, married to a Black man with Black babies, that's another mask I gotta wear. Showing up as in the nursing world, showing up in the nursing world in corporate, right? And there's all these, and I can't do it no more, y'all. I can't. I'm tired. I think that's where, like, I kept saying I'm tired. I mean, that's where the exhaustion is coming from. Not being able to be my authentic self, or at least telling myself that I can't, because I'm scared of what's on the other side. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's why I'm here. I think that's why I've always admired YouTube. I mean, people can, obviously, social media is social media, okay? But I always feel like on YouTube, people tend to be more authentic. Um, you know, there's not enough representation of what it really looks like to live life. Um, People aren't talking about the things that really matter more than they used to, but they're still not. And there's just things that I feel like need to be said. And I don't want to have to put myself in a box, and I don't want to have to put myself on mute anymore. These things need to be talked about. Um, Women's rights, race inequality, our government, like, what is going on? Our food, the school system, the education. Like, and I think about these things all the time. And yet most of my day is consumed at work, working towards a goal and an initiative that has really nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? Like, if I left tomorrow, they would hire somebody into that space to promote and push that goal and initiative. There's nothing special about me there. Like, and I don't want to say that in a way where I don't know my worth. I know my worth. I don't for a second feel like my higher ups don't appreciate me. Um, but the reality is that, right? Like, this is not my goal. And I think that with everything going on in the world, I think a lot of us are craving to be able to push a narrative and speak about things or work towards things that actually are going to make a difference and move the needle, despite how hard they might be. Because it's like we're working jobs that are already hard. We're working jobs that are already exhausting and daunting and stressful and this. And it's like, well, if I'm going to do that, I'd rather do that. And actually, if I'm going to, at least I can shake the table, ruffle some feathers, and start moving the needle to something really good. I feel like there's not enough of us making enough noise right now in our country, and we need to. And that is something that I'm very passionate about. And I don't have all the answers. I don't know what that even means. I don't know what it looks like. But I do feel like that's part of, again, why I want to be on here and connect with people and start talking to people, because I know that somehow I can merge the two. The fact that I'm a nurse and I'm working in the healthcare system, and I've worked in the healthcare system since I was 18, um, that along with what needs to change, and just talking about life and what's going on and how we can come together to make things better. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if people are listening to me, but I'm here talking. I don't even know how many videos I've posted. Maybe 10? One short. My shorts got 100 views though. I'm happy about that. And a couple of my videos have gotten some views. Some have no views. I'm not really pushing it. I do have Facebook and I have Instagram and TikTok, and I'm not posting my videos on there. I could, but I'm not right. I'm not in that space right now. I've noticed for me, when I try to do all of the, like, I need to just do one thing, and that's this. I like that YouTube has the shorts, so I can, have that variation, but I can't do the like promoting my page on, like, maybe at some point, but right now, no. I think that's another issue too, like so much pressure, right? Like if I do this thing, I have to do it well, I have to do it amazing, and I need to be able to make money off of it. And then it's like, no, actually, I don't need to make money off of it. It would be nice. Like I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like I'm not gonna hold you. It would be nice for this to turn into opportunities that align. Um, but I think that's what's held me back, because I'm like, well, if I'm not going to make money within the first, 6 months, then what's the point? I'm wasting my time. But I'm not. I'm not wasting my time, because not everything needs to be something that turns into um, a stream of income per se. Like, I don't want to say that in a naive way, but I'm just saying, like, that shouldn't hold me back from doing things. Like, even a hobby. Like, if I have a hobby, it's my hobby. I don't need to do it to make money. I'm doing it because it truly makes me happy. It brings me joy, and I enjoy doing it. And some things don't, they just need to stay a hobby. And I think we've, as a culture, gotten very, very comfortable and used to the fact that everything we do can make money. We look at everything as it can make money, and a lot of it can, but that's not the point. The point is, something should just be reserved for you to be your time to decompress and reset. So that's this for me. And like I said, if God puts his hands on this and allows it to be something that turns into me being able to have opportunities that produce income for my family and allow me to move towards work that is truly aligned with my soul, then God bless it and amen. Because that's where I'm at. I don't want to do work that is just empty. Yes, I have bills. They need to be paid. I ain't rich, but I am reaching that point where, you know, I'd rather make a little less to be more aligned. Um, because it's exhausting to keep just showing up like an empty shell every day. An empty shell of a person for a paycheck. It's robotic. And I think that's the goal. Like, they want us to feel robotic so we can't think about anything else that actually means something. And I'm done with it. I am done with it. I'm capped out on it. And I hope y'all stick around for the journey. Because I'm curious myself of how the journey is going to go. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but y'all say a prayer for me. And I'm leaving it in God's hands. I prayed to God and I told him to just, lead the way and remove, dear God. And I'm going to just say it right now again. And this is for anybody out here who needs this prayer as well and needs to hear this. God, for all of us out there that have such a difficult time releasing control over our destiny, take the reins. Remove any opportunity and any chance for us to go against what it is that you have planned for our next steps. Take away any hesitation, any worry, any questioning that may arise when it's time to take that next step that looks and feels uncertain and scary. Help us to quiet our minds so that we can hear you clearly and follow our intuition in those moments when we are scared and worried and fearful. Make your presence known so that we know for 100% certainty that no matter what, no matter how uncomfortable it feels and no matter how scary it feels, we know that these next steps are aligned by you and you are protecting us and covering us the entire way. Take us into your heart, God, and give us a little extra comfort, because for these analytical brains that we have, your type A children in the world, we are great for so many things, but we are our own worst enemy, and you know that about us. So we need you to hold us a little bit tighter and a little bit closer, because we're scared. We are scared. But we know that it's time to release all control and give it to you. So we're giving it to you today, Lord. Today and for the rest of our lives, we're giving all the control to you. We're not fighting anymore. We're exhausted. We're tired. We give it all to you. And we trust you. Just hold our hand tightly and give us a little extra grace and gentleness as we work through our struggle to control. Amen. I hope that that prayer reaches whoever it needs to reach today. For us, type A, controlling people is very needed. And gentle reminder, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace.